Facebook world. My name is Denise Walsh. I am here actually on spring break. I am in Charlotte, North Carolina with my two boys. They're ages 6 and 3. I'm at my sister's house with my mom, and we did an amazing event yesterday, a mini boot camp, and just had so much fun. And I am so excited to come and connect with you guys because I realized that this April, so I think it's April 13th is the exact day, I have been a part of this business for 10 years. 10 years! 10 years! Can you believe it? I was 26 years old when I started in this industry, and I had no experience, I had no connections, no network, nothing like that. We just got really excited about a product and a business and started to take action. So I am going to do a 10-part series over the course of this next month that are just some little lessons that I've learned over the past 10 years. I certainly was not a 10 when I got started in this business. In fact, I would say I was on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 4 in terms of confidence, knowledge, experience. I didn't know what I was doing. So I know if you're new in this industry or in our business, then you might be wondering, can I ever get there? Can I ever have the confidence? Can I ever feel like I've made it, quote unquote? And I know you can because I've been through it all, and I'm going to share with you that over this next month. So before we get started, I want to introduce the series a little bit, introduce myself for those who don't know my story. I have been a part of It Works Global for the past 10 years. Previous to this, I was a clinical psychologist. I got my master's in clinical psychology from Wheaton College, which is right outside Chicago. And I thought that was where I was supposed to be. I got into the field of psychology because I wanted to work with and help people. I have a firm belief in others, and I felt like psychology was my way to help pour that belief out and help them become all that they were created to be. And anyone in the helping professions knows that it ends up being more about policy, paperwork, and procedure and less about people. And so I went through what they call a quarter life crisis, right? I spent 6 years in college going after my dreams, making things happen, got my first job. I was off to change the world. No, not quite. Really, not quite. I realized, oh my gosh, is this where I want to be for the next 30 years? I grew up, my dad was an accountant, 9-to-5er, stayed at the same job for a long time. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, so being an entrepreneur was not in my blood. It was not something that I knew much about. And so I thought that that's what you do. You go to college, you get a job, and you stay there until you retire, right? Well, at 26 years old, I thought, I don't want to be here for the rest of my life. I had all these big dreams, I had all these big goals, I had all these things I wanted to do and things I wanted to accomplish, people I wanted to help, and I knew that I couldn't do that in my job. In fact, those big dreams that I had, I realized that those dreams are starting to shrink. I was living for nights and weekends. I wasn't as excited or passionate about life anymore. I was just going through the motions. I felt like a zombie going through life. I like to say we don't have a rags to riches story because we were making a fairly good income. We weren't living paycheck to paycheck. We didn't have kids yet when we first started. But I do have a survive to thrive story because previous to It Works, I was emotionally surviving. I was overwhelmed, I was underpaid, I had all this stuff to do and not enough time or resources to do it, and I was just emotionally bankrupt. I just living on E all the time, and it's really hard to help others or to impact the world if you're empty. You know what I mean? And that's where I was. So when we got started with It Works, I was emotionally looking for something. I felt stuck in what I was doing, but I didn't know what else to do. Has anybody ever been there? Seriously. Where you're like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know I don't like where I'm at, but I don't know what else to do, so I guess I'm just going to stay here. That's where I was. And I think so many people live like that, honestly. I know if I hadn't started with this company, I would probably still be in that job. trying to figure out my next step. You know, how many of us are like trying to figure out what to do next for a long time? That was me. I was trying to figure out what to do next because I knew I didn't like what I was doing, but I didn't quite know what else, right? So my husband, he was an aerospace engineer, and people always ask me, like, was he a rocket scientist? I'm like, well, no, not that cool. He lived in cubicle world and was bored out of his mind, to be honest. And he's always been a dreamer. So where I was a hard worker, I don't necessarily feel like I have the vision. I mean, I've learned the vision, but I didn't know that. I didn't understand what this business could do for me when I first started. I didn't know what I didn't know. But my husband was an entrepreneur mind. He's a visionary. He's the one that's always wanted to open up a franchise. He's always wanted to open up, you know, a startup. He's always thinking, like, what can we do next kind of thing. But whenever we looked into other options, it was thousands of dollars startup. You end up being married to the storefront. And it was never something reasonable that, like, we couldn't, our middle class family couldn't do that. You know, it was never something that we felt like was really reasonable for us. So when we heard about the wrap, it was through our small group at church. I heard about the wrap, but it wasn't until I had a vacation plan that I finally listened. How many of you out there have heard about it? You maybe even have seen it on Facebook, but it wasn't until you had a reason you said, okay, now I'm ready. So that was me. I had heard about it, but it wasn't until I had a vacation planned where I said, okay, now I want to try it. So I tried it, I saw results, and actually I became a customer. Previous to It Works, I mean, even before, well, previous to kids, really, is I was running 6 miles a day. I've run 2 marathons. I've always been interested in health and wellness. I recently did my first bodybuilding competition. Like, I love nutrition, and I love putting good things in your body. So I understood the nutritional side of things. I love the wrap. I fell in love with the defining gel for sure, because even if you're running 6 miles away or 6 miles a day, cellulite does not discriminate. And so I fell in love with our supplements. My husband started to see me get excited about taking the products, and he started to see the dollar signs. So he was like, a hot sizzle product that nobody knows about, we're in. And we upgraded to become distributors 2 weeks later. Now, when we got started, you guys, I honestly was like, should I go back to school for business? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And school is what I knew, right? So I thought, maybe I need to go back to school and learn how to do this. And Brandon was like, no, that's not true. All you need to do is get the wrap on people and be excited about it. And so honestly, that is what we did. We just started getting the wrap on people. This is before smartphones. This is before Facebook. We just honestly got the wrap on people and asked for referrals. And things start to spread because I realized it wasn't about who I know. It's about who I meet and who they know. And so we just kept going. And sooner, 2 plus 2 didn't equal 4 anymore. And I was able to quit my job in about 2.5, 3 years. Both Brandon and I quit our job within 6 months of each other. We then spent 6 weeks in Australia wrapping as many Aussies as we could and building a thriving Australia team. And came back and I was full-time with It Works. We have been full-time with It Works for almost 8 years. And now we've hit our 10-year anniversary. Oh my gosh. So we've now got 2 boys. Both have red hair, which I think is important to know. They're so cute. And they only know 2 work-from-home parents. So, guys, anybody can do this. I was a clinical psychologist turned rap girl. And honestly, I feel like I'm helping way more people now than I ever could at my regular job. And it's because I'm now working with people who want to change their lives and in a system that can help them. Whereas before, I was working with people that didn't really want to change in a system that couldn't really help them. And so now I'm just so passionate about what we do because not only have I seen success, but I've seen success duplicate within our team. My sister, our cousins, Brandon's sister, our family, our friends, they are experiencing financial freedom. They're experiencing a place where they can dig down their roots, thrive, become the person that they're created to be. And that is what keeps me fired up and going each and every day. So that is a short version of our story. And throughout the last 10 years, we've certainly had ups and downs. You know what I mean? Like personal ups and downs, business ups and downs. We've experienced highs and lows, the roller coaster of what being an entrepreneur is like. But I want to start by sharing the one thing, the first tip that I think really grew my confidence. And it was when I realized that my only job, honestly, my only job in this business is to become a professional asker. Because what I found is I was telling people what we did. I was branding myself as the, Grand Rapids rap girl. I was getting the news out. I was telling people. But what people would say is, oh, good for you. And I tell them what we do. We own our own business. It's a health and wellness company. And they'd be like, oh, good for you. I needed to take it a step further and say, you can do it too. Do you know anybody that wants to make extra money? Do you know anybody that wants to tone, tighten, and firm their skin? Do you know anybody? And I had to take it that step further of truly asking them if they wanted to be a part of the adventure as well. Now, I've got a few stories to share because there's been some times where I have not asked. I've not. And it's come back to bite me. So, one story is a girl from high school. So you know how we talk with you guys, or you're starting to build your business and you're starting to think, all right, who do I know? You've got your warm market, people that or your hot market, people that you talk to on a consistent basis, your warm market, people that you haven't seen in a while, and then your lukewarm market, right? People from maybe high school or church groups or things that you haven't talked to in years, but yet you're friends on Facebook and etc. So, this is like so embarrassing, but I was going through my list and I started to think of this girl. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she would be so good at this. And when the Lord just brings people into your mind, that's a sign you should reach out. Because this girl popped up into my mind. And I started making excuses. I started saying, oh, I don't know her new last name. Oh, I don't think she lives in Michigan anymore. Oh, I'm sure she's, blah, 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 blah. And I never reached out. Never. Well, I can tell you within months of her popping into my name, she joined It Works. And she joined under another team. And I asked her one day, I was like, I'm so glad you're a part of our company, but why didn't you sign up with me? See, she knew I was a distributor. I post on Facebook. She's seen my, newsreel. You know what I mean? She knew. And she said, because you never asked. Isn't that interesting? Posting is not asking. Posting on Facebook, telling people what you're doing is not the same as saying, do you want to do it too? You would be so good at this. Oh my gosh, have you tried a rap yet? It's different. It's different. And posting may increase, curiosity. It may kind of tell people what you're doing, but until you personally ask them, they might not ever consider it. Until you say, what about you? You would be good at this, or you would love the rap, or this is great because you just had a new baby, or you're a stay-at-home mom, whatever it is. That personal ask makes such a huge difference. So I learned the hard way to ask everyone. And it didn't matter what their answer was, to be honest. It just didn't matter because I wanted to plant the seed. And I wanted them to remember me when they were ready, because timing is everything, right? Okay, so I now have another story. So I had another girl that kept popping into my mind. Oh, this is so funny. So she kept popping into my mind. And again, I was like, oh, I should message her. Oh, I should message her. And I never did. Guys, it's so easy to not do it because we're so busy. I have all these other people I'm talking to. But when these people come into our minds, we have got to take action. So this is what happened with this girl. She kept popping into my mind. So finally, she reached out to me. And she actually reached out on a second Facebook account that I never use, and we just did it to help with leads or something, and we never use it. And so the fact that I even saw that message was pretty divine. But I saw it within a day or so of her messaging me, and she said, I can't stop thinking about you. I need to meet. And so we met, and she was telling me her story, and she just broke my heart, and she said, Denise, if I don't make a change, my job is going to change me. And she was just so distraught, so burnt out, so ready for a change, and she signed up as a distributor on my team. Later on, I learned that she had been dreaming about us. Dreaming. Like, if you guys wake up dreaming about us and what you're seeing on Facebook and what's going on and you know you need a change too, like, that's a sign you need to get started. And she had been dreaming about us. So at the same time that I was thinking about her, she was dreaming about us. So it's just another reminder that don't take those thoughts when you think about somebody for granted. You know, it really is, and you can even message people and say, oh my gosh, I keep thinking about you, so I just need to let you know what I'm doing and invite you on this journey with me. And again, even if they say no, that's okay, because now the seed is planted. And they'll be watching you more now, and if they keep thinking about you, right, or dreaming about you, then they'll get back in touch. So become a professional asker. Our job is not to focus on the outcome. Our job is to ask as many people as possible. And, you know, I think especially, like, I believe that our team is already decided for us. Honestly, already decided. And it's our job to go to everyone and be like, are you supposed to be on my team? Are you supposed to be on my team? Are you supposed to be on my team? And some people will look at you like you're crazy and weird. And some people are going to go, oh my gosh, I have been praying for something. I need something. Thank you for reaching out. So with that being said, I'm sure that while I've been talking, a few names have popped up for you. And I want you to use me as an excuse. Like, I just heard this amazing story and I know I need to reach out to you. Or I just keep being prompted and I know I need to reach out to you and just let you know what's going on. Have you ever thought about making extra money from home? Or have you ever tried that rep yet? Now is the time. So, I challenge you all to do that. But you know what? It's not just my 10-year anniversary. I am really excited because I'm down here in Charlotte with my sister Lisa, who's Presidential Diamond with It Works, and today is her 5-year anniversary. So yes, you heard me right. She signed up when I was 5 years into the business because it had to be her time, and I would love for her to share a bit of her story and, you know, when the timing was right for her. Why she said no to me at first, and then when she was ready, she reached out and finally said yes. So, everybody, I want to introduce you to Lisa. This is my sister. And Lisa, I would love for everyone to just to hear a bit of your story, why you got started with us, and when it was finally right for you, and you know what I mean? Tell us your story.
Yeah, so this was Denise's thing, right? And if you are a younger sibling, you can cheer them on, but that doesn't mean it's for you, right? Like, that's cool, go you, Denise, but not my thing, right? And I never, ever thought that I would be involved. Totally not interested. And she was even at our house when she got her first, like, $30,000 paycheck. And then I think we were with her again when she got her first, like, $50,000 paycheck. And again, we said, good job, Denise. But it wasn't for me. I didn't want to do parties. I'm not outgoing. I don't have an extremely large network. And I was happy with where we were at. We did not have a need. And so at that time, I was an x-ray tech at the hospital. I had just finished up school, and it was good. We were happy. We weren't living paycheck to paycheck. I enjoyed going to my job, and it was fine. But I went in for my annual review that year, and my boss said, Lisa, we're so glad that you're with us. It's been great. But, and we're so happy we can give you a 2% raise this year. And she was thrilled, because at the time it was like 2009, 2010, like the economy had kind of dipped a little bit, and the hospital wasn't giving raises. And so she said, so happy we can give you the max 2%. And I walked out of there thinking, 2%, thanks, that's great. But where is that going to get me by the time I'm 65, right? Like, you're barely keeping up with inflation. And to make it worse, like, it's the same 2% that your crabby coworkers are going to get. Like, there's got to be something more. And so that's when I decided I needed to do something different. So I called Denise up and I said, okay, clearly the compensation plan works. That's not a question, right? Like you're making $30, $50, $80, $100,000 a month. Clearly that works. But how can I do it? Because you do is not what I can do. We're totally different people. And so that's when she told me about all the teams and the systems and the marketing materials and the party plan and the everything that's in place already that we don't have to make up. Like, I don't have to be a good marketer. I don't have to be an amazing businesswoman. I don't have to have a network of thousands of people ready to jump on board. I don't have to be the most outgoing person. I just have to be myself, and I have to go all in. So 5 years ago, I went all in. You know, we say you have 2 D-days in this business. One is sign-up day. You made the decision to join. And the second D-day is you're making the decision to go all in. Well, I am probably one of the few that had both D-days on the same day because it took me 5 years, right, to decide. So I decided to go all in on day one, and I just looked up everything. YouTube videos, the corporate training. I talked to Denise like 5 times a day, asking the most insane basic questions ever. But if you've ever enrolled a distributor, what's the problem? When they're not asking you the questions, you know that they're not working. So at least she was probably happy that I was asking her questions. But in these 5 years, I was working at the hospital at the time. Since then, I now have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I left my hospital job about 2.5 years ago. So I'm 100% full-time at home. And for me, it's about the time freedom. You know, to be able to do what you want to do when you're able to work your business from the park, from the car, from the couch watching Mickey Mouse, to be able to go run your errands during the week, time off on the weekend or trips. You don't have to worry about PTO or asking your boss or leaving for holidays. You have the time freedom to do what you want. And to me, that is way more important than any income that you can have. And so it's really been the best of both worlds for me. You know, I went to Michigan State. I have a college degree. There's things that I've learned throughout my life that I want to share. And so not working didn't really seem like something I wanted to do. So I still get to work. I still get to use my skills. I still get to meet people from all over the world. I still get to travel. I still get to make a difference. I still get to personally grow and learn. But I get to do it from my phone. And I get to do it with my kids. And so it's really the best of both worlds. Learning, growing, being a businesswoman, but being with your kids. A work-from-home mom, not a stay-at-home mom. 2 totally different things. So it's been an amazing experience. And really, we see each other, come back in the frame, we see each other so much more now than we did before. Our family that's in the business, we go to conference, and it's seriously like a family reunion. Like, it's so fun. So, and the glory of this is you get to work with who you want to work with, right? Like, you don't get to choose your coworkers when at your regular job. So you get to choose who you work with. And so if you're new or you're not new and your best friends aren't in it yet, ask them. I want to travel with you. I want to have that beach money with you. I want to go to Florida for green carpet and sit on the beach with you. Please do this with me so we can learn and grow together. Because that's the fun part, right? Like, I'm growing a team in Spain, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to Spain together. Really? We never would have had the opportunity before. So we're dreaming big and having fun and growing and learning together as a family. So definitely ask your best friends to do it with you. But it's been a fun journey.
Well, and if you don't ask them, someone else will. And I think that's the thing, too, is not only do people want to know that you're active and working, they want to know that you are going to help them, that you're going to lead them, that you're going to be a partner with them. And if you don't ask, someone else might. And if they don't know that you're fully invested in the business, then they might choose to go with someone they know is going to help work with them and take them far. So, you know, I think it's one thing to ask, and then it's another thing to just continue to pour belief into your prospects or your friends or family or people you know that would be really good. And then when they're ready, on their time, they will come back to you. And they'll finally say, okay, Denise, tell me a little bit more about what you're doing. And can I really do it too? And the answer is absolutely yes, because we know whatever your skill set is, you can find a way to work this business. So
yeah, our compensation plan is so awesome like that. Like, you can really figure out when you want to work, how you want to work, and where you want to work, and you can find success. And that's, I mean, you look at the top money earners, and nobody works it the same. Nobody has the same skill set, and so there's no one right way to work it. You just literally have to work it.
Step one.
Yeah, step one, work.
Yeah. Well, and what I love, too, is that you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. Instagram, Facebook, parties, all of that, hundreds list, in order to figure out your niche. But once you figure out your niche, what you really love, what comes natural and easy to you, then you do it a lot. Do it a lot. But I bet there's some of you listening that are thinking of people that you have not asked yet. And I recommend, to everybody here, to be that professional asker, to reach out and just let people know you're open for business, that you want them to join you, that they can be successful too. And when you kind of let go of any fear or any objections you're telling yourself, and you just stay focused on what you want and ask your way there, that's what you're going to do. You're going to ask your way to the finish line. You'll do it. You will do it. And you'll have so much fun along the way. So this is I'm flying home tomorrow, so I won't have Lisa on my lives for the rest of the month. So I would just love to hear anything that you wish you knew 5 years ago when you got started.
Really that anyone can do this. Anyone who really, really wants a change, that really is willing to put themselves out of their comfort zone, who's willing to be mentored, who's willing to try different things, to learn new things, because nobody knows what they're doing when they start. Like, unless you've done businesses before, and most of us haven't, I hadn't, nobody knows what they're doing, and nobody comes in this with tons of confidence. So borrow our confidence, because we've been here for a while. We know the compensation plan works. We know the team works. We know the business works. We know the products work. That's not a question anymore. And so come in, grow the confidence in yourself, but be willing to step out of your comfort zone, listen to those who have had success, right? Because success leaves clues, and really just go all in. Because if you put your toe in, you're not going to get what you want. You really got to make the jump, go all in, give it a hard year, and you will see some amazing things happen.
Awesome. We say, give us a year, and It Works will change your life. And I firmly believe that, from my head to my toe, of a year of focused dedication, invested effort, where you're focused in that right direction, things will happen. So aren't you so proud of her? Oh, I know. And I just have to end with one story. So, when someone as close as your sister signs up in the business, and I was ambassador when Lisa signed up, so I had been in for 5 years, and she came to her first conference as an Emerald. And we went to a little meeting afterwards and did aha moments and just shared our experiences from conference. And Lisa stood up, and she, with tears in her eyes, said, "This is good. Like, this place is good. These are good people, and they have good hearts, and they want the best for everyone." And to have someone that I care about kind of walk into my business world, which is something she didn't know a ton about when she first got started, to come to conference and just feel the love, not only from our corporate staff, but from just the whole energy and atmosphere of it. It was amazing. It truly, truly was. So I know from lots of experiences over the past 10 years that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I believe that if you are here, it is because it's exactly where you're supposed to be too. So go 110% in, like Lisa said, and let's be a professional asker. If not for a whole year, at least for the next few days. Professional asker, get your list out and start being loud, because if you aren't asking, someone else will. Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for tuning in.